As a newbie, all my colleagues laughed at my lousy acting and said I'd never make it. I laughed too at how they had no sugar daddies backing them up and had to fight for every resource on their own. You'll get dumped sooner or later. My sugar daddy, my rules. Mind your own business or drop dead. How many steps does it take to go from an extra to the female lead? 2. Jump off a building and transmigrate into a book. I swear, I was trying to save someone. I never expected to slip, lose my footing, and plummet from the rooftop right then and there. The one who ended up jumping was me. The wind howled past my ears, scraping against my face. I sighed inwardly, damn it. What a pointless way to die. If there's a next life, I'm never sticking my nose in other people's business again. Gasping for air, I struggled awake from the darkness and sat up, panting heavily. My hand hurt. I glanced at the floor drip, the sterile white sheets, the sharp smell of disinfectant. My brain short-circuited for a moment before it hit me: a hospital. I fell from the 8th floor. For heaven's sake. And I'm still alive. The door to the room suddenly swung open and a man walked in. Well, a seriously handsome one at that. Holding a thermos, he stared at me for a solid half-minute before seeming to let out a sigh of relief. Miss, are you okay? Are you hurt anywhere? I'll go get a doctor. Being stared at by such a good-looking guy was a little embarrassing. I shyly lowered my head. Before I could coyly utter the word, fine, 2 people rushed into the room. A man and a woman. They threw themselves beside my bed, sobbing uncontrollably. I wanted to ask who they were, but what came out instead was, Mom, Dad. I covered my mouth. Holy crap, who's controlling me? My head suddenly began to throb. I clutched it as unfamiliar memories and fragments flooded my mind. A woman's shrill voice rang out in the room. If anything happens to my daughter, you'll pay. Do you have any idea how much she makes in a day? Can you even afford to compensate us? A man's voice chimed in, backing her up. Exactly. How much lost income for the 3 of us? If you don't pay up today, we're calling the police. My head felt like it was about to split open. I couldn't hold back anymore. Shut up, I yelled. The woman turned to look at me, suddenly raised her hand, and slapped me across the face. In a low voice, she hissed, You little brat. How dare you yell at me? You should have died. Why didn't you get yourself killed in that crash? If you were dead, you could have gotten more compensation. Why aren't you dead? That slap sobered me up a little. I realized I hadn't been saved. I seemed to have transmigrated. And where I transmigrated to was the novel I'd been recently reading. Right now was exactly where the story began. I'd been in a car accident. The hit-and-run driver fled, and the one who brought me to the hospital was the male lead Liu Shuwen. The 2 people who came in later were my parents. Liu Shuwen frowned. Auntie, she's still a patient. Wang Qin immediately turned on him. I'm disciplining my own daughter, what's it to you? We haven't even settled things with you yet. You hit my daughter. How are you planning to fix this? This won't be resolved for less than 100,000, young man. Liu Shuwen's frown deepened. My head was still spinning in waves. Memories from the female lead's childhood kept flooding in, making it impossible to form a complete sentence. Wang Qin pressed on aggressively. 100,000 is the bare minimum. Do you know what my daughter does for a living? She's an influencer. She makes tens of thousands per hour. You've held her up for days. You do the math on how much that'll cost. I didn't hit her. I was just passing by, saw she was injured, and brought her to the hospital, Liu Shuwen stated. Oh, really? If you didn't hit her, why would you bring her to the hospital? Do good Samaritans like that even exist these days? I think you're feeling guilty. Hand over the money now, or we're calling the police. Liu Shuwen took out his phone. Then call the police. Wang Qin visibly jolted, her face a mask of disbelief. Finally, the headache subsided. I looked at Liu Shuwen and smiled. I'm fine. Thank you for bringing me to the hospital. You can go now. Wang Qin tried to speak again, but I cut her off. He didn't hit me. If you call the police, you won't get a single cent. After Liu Shuwen left, Wang Qin simply snatched my phone, fiddled with it for a moment, and tossed it back to me. Well, damn. She left me 200 and transferred the remaining 2,000 to herself. Before leaving the room, she shot me a glare. If you're not dead, hurry up and start your live stream. Your brother needs living expenses again in a couple of days. I closed my eyes and played dead, too tired to bother with her. Just like in every domineering CEO Mary Sue novel, the female lead's family was poor. Her parents favored sons over daughters, and a car accident accidentally brought her together with the male lead. Liu Shuwen handsome, gentle, and loaded. Who wouldn't like a man like that? And through their interactions, the male lead would come to admire the female lead's resilience and kindness. I hadn't finished the ending yet, but I guessed it would be a happy one after all. It was supposed to be a sweet romance. I pulled the covers over my head. But as a reader, I didn't like the male lead, Liu Shuwen. Seriously. On the day I was discharged, my best friend Zhao Lily came to help with the paperwork. As she packed my things, she ranted. That bastard. Hitting someone and running away, he must have a death wish. We're absolutely calling the police. Let him rot in jail. I rubbed my tingling ears. Lily, keep it down. I'm going deaf. She belatedly lowered her voice. Your mom came by a couple of days ago. She rummaged through your room and left cursing. I thought for a moment. Come with me later to pick out a new lock. Zhao Lily's eyes widened. Whoa, Meng Heo Hao. Have you been possessed? Hearing that, my shoulders visibly stiffened. Was I that obvious? Lily went on. How many times have I told you to change the lock and you never listened? Now you're suggesting it yourself? I awkwardly smoothed my hair. Ahem. Well, walking through the gates of hell changes a person. Made me rethink a lot of things. Nonsense implying the obvious. I wasn't the real Meng Heo Hao, after all. A few days later, after just finishing an interview at Xingde, Wang Qin's call came barging in. You little brat, did you change the lock? I pressed the elevator button and smiled. Yes, and I'm planning to move in a couple of days too. What about it? Wang Qin. I don't care if you change the lock or are moving. Get back and start your live stream. Your boss has been calling me. How many texts have they sent telling you to go live? Are you blind? I'm not going to stream anymore. Wang Qin's voice shot up several octaves. Not streaming? Don't you know the breach penalty is 500,000? These floors were really high. I've been waiting forever. Leaning against the wall, I curved my lips. You're the one who signed the contract. You're the one collecting the money every month. What does any of that have to do with me? Meng Heo Hao. Wang Qin's voice was especially shrill. I held the phone away from my ear. The elevator finally arrived. I hung up. A man was standing inside. He wore a tailored charcoal grey suit that looked extremely expensive. Without overthinking it, I stepped in. The doors closed, and I immediately felt the temperature around me drop. The source ... was the man beside me. I tried to shrink away from him as much as possible. The elevator moved smoothly until it stopped on the 17th floor. I thought someone was getting on, but the doors didn't open. After a dozen seconds, the elevator began to plummet downward. In that split second, my mind went blank. Oh no, am I about to die again? Fortunately, the elevator stopped on the 3rd floor and didn't go any further. The sweat on my back had already soaked through my clothes. I glanced at the man beside me. He was plastered against the wall, his face pale, his forehead even covered in a fine sheen of sweat. All right, no help from this one. Slowly, on trembling legs, I stood up and pressed the emergency button. The monitoring center said they'd send someone soon. I finally let out a sigh of relief and plopped down on the floor. Grey suit, elevator, malfunction in that flash of a moment. A thought sped through my mind. Could this be He Chen? But I hadn't run into Liu Shuwen yet. Hadn't treated him to a meal. Hadn't even exchanged WeChat with him. How could I be meeting He Chen already? The man's brows were tightly locked, his expression grim. I tentatively called out, He Chen? He glanced at me and quickly looked away. The previous fear and unease were instantly replaced by a strange sense of happiness. This was He Chen, the second male lead. He Chen, the one I'd been longing for, my unresolved regret. In the original book, He Chen did every bad deed imaginable. He schemed against the male lead again and again, pressured his company into bankruptcy, and for the female lead's acting career, he harmed many people without hesitation. Though he deceived her and kept things from her, he never actually hurt her. He walked from the darkness to stand beside the radiant female lead, yet he could never enter her sight. At first, I just wanted to tie her to my side. In the end, I actually started hoping she would love me. When He Chen met his end in a story, I had cried my heart out. Well then, let me be the one to fill this unresolved regret. Having made up my mind, I gathered my courage and moved closer to him. Before I could even get near, he coldly spat out a single word. Get lost. Good, very He Chen. I sighed, then resolutely reached out and slowly patted his back. Close your eyes, take deep breaths. Someone will be here soon. He Chen stared at me for a long moment. The ice shards in his eyes were practically freezing me to death. Just before the smile on my face could freeze solid, he finally closed his eyes and slowly took 2 deep breaths. I let out a breath of relief. He Chen had a mild case of claustrophobia. Probably the elevator's sudden drop had triggered it. When someone is extremely scared or in pain, they need someone to comfort and adjust their emotions. Wasn't this the perfect opportunity for me? I was just about to launch into a long, made-up story to distract him when He Chen suddenly asked, "You're not afraid of me?" The original plot. I lowered my voice a little and delivered the line with deliberate affectation. Why should I be afraid of you? Do you eat people? Or drink blood? After a long while, his voice came from within the elevator. What's your name? Meng Hio Hao. He Chen, this is where you and I begin. That evening, I moved out with Lily. She kept marveling. I've been telling you to move for a year and you never budged. How come getting hit by a car knocked some sense into you? I laughed. Don't be silly. I just suddenly saw things clearly. Oh, I'm sorry. If I had to keep facing those vampire parents, I really wouldn't be able to stop myself from doing something. Might as well move out, let them not find me, and not have to deal with them. Lily. But how? This neighborhood you found seems pretty expensive. Do we have the money? I smiled mysteriously. Don't worry, we will soon. Xingda, a top entertainment company. As an influencer, I signed up for their trainee program. But then again, you asked me to save the CEO, He Chen, in the elevator. He took a liking to me, skyrocketed my career, and directly handed me the role of the second female lead in a major production. For my part, I didn't let him down. I portrayed that role very successfully. After waiting 2 days, I finally got the call from Xingda, reminding me that I'd passed the interview and should report tomorrow. What followed also matched the original plot. As soon as I arrived at the company, I was taken to the CEO's assistant's office. He handed me a script, congratulating me with a smile. I bowed slightly in thanks. I definitely won't let President He down. And then what followed was, well, I let him down. Memorizing lines was a piece of cake for me. After all, my previous life was as a journalist. But could someone please tell me how to cry in 3 seconds? How do you express restrained love and a gaze that pulls at the heartstrings? And what kind of expression is crying while smiling? A week into filming, the director's look when he watched me was already hard to decipher. During a break, I hid under a wicker chair with a fan. Meng Hao, I'm sorry. That future Best Actress award of yours, I probably won't be getting it. How on earth did Meng Hao land the role of Mei Zhuang? Theft? Do you even need to ask? She's got a sugar daddy backing her. Really? But Director Guo doesn't seem to like her much. Not Director Guo. I heard she was personally brought in by President He. Whoa, isn't He Chen supposed to be really hard to deal with? Who knows what methods she used? Don't they know to gossip about people away from the person involved? Hearing them makes all 3 of us awkward, okay? Ahem, I can hear you, I said, somewhat embarrassed. The 2 of them pulled at each other and walked away. So what? Can't we comment on bad acting? The one who said this was the 3rd female lead not far away. She was lounging on a wicker chair, with people fanning her and bringing her water. She was an old-timer at our company, somewhat famous, and had worked hard to get where she was. Originally, this role should have been hers. I had swooped in and snatched it. It was natural for her to feel resentful and upset. If it were me, I might have hit someone. I silently picked up my little fan and walked further away. If I can't afford to provoke them, can't I at least avoid them? I'll go back and study my acting skills diligently. Try to understand the character. I was just fanning myself in the courtyard when a bunch of people suddenly arrived from outside, bringing loads of summer fruit drinks to beat the heat. President, he is here to visit the set. Someone shouted. I craned my neck and finally saw He Chen, dressed in casual clothes, coming to visit. He didn't like wearing casual clothes. He must have just come from playing golf. Whoa, a legendary figure. He Chen, it's actually He Chen. I've never seen him visit anyone's set before. This time, it couldn't be for Meng Hao Hao, could it? I couldn't help but lower my head and snicker. That's right. He is here for me. Everyone from the company went over to greet him. He Chen nodded, then strode straight towards me. I heard your acting is terrible. He opened with a bombshell. Under the blazing sun, He Chen's voice was as cold as winter ice. My scalp tingled. How is this not following the original plot? Weren't you supposed to visit the set and then tell me I was doing well? Catching Director Guo's amused expression, I understood. I'd been reported on, and it really was my own problem. GH, no face left to show. At most, tomorrow my name would be on the hot search. President He's first set visit actually to question newcomer Meng Hao Hao's acting skills. I lowered my head in apology. Sorry, President He. I'll work hard to improve. He Chen didn't say anything more. Within a 2-meter radius around him, there was no one but me. Just as I was about to be frozen to death by his gaze under the July sun, he finally turned, slowly scanned the area and said, She's a newcomer. Her acting still needs polishing. Please bear with her. His last glance landed on Director Guo. I guess that counts as standing up for me. Sure enough, I was on the hot search the next day, though I was just riding on someone else's coattails. He Chen's first set visit suspected of backing newcomer. The video was blurry, probably edited, but you could still see He Chen's figure, and his voice was very clear. She's a newcomer. Her acting still needs polishing. Please bear with her. The comments below were all over the place, but of course, the ones that appeared most were the 3 words sleeping one's way to the top. I sighed. I wish I could sleeping to my way, but President He isn't giving me the chance. Also, because of this hot search, my Weibo followers kept increasing for several days in a row. Thanks for the gift, President He. On a rare day off, Lily dragged me out of bed at 8 a.m. Day in, day out, it's just filming and memorizing lines. Sis has an event today, taking you somewhere fun. I'm not going. With my bedhead and morning grumpiness, Lily didn't humor me at all. Hurry up. There are handsome guys. Well, who doesn't love handsome guys? I just didn't expect Lily's event to be a birthday party, and even less that the handsome guy would be an acquaintance. It's you? Liu Shuwen looked surprised the moment he saw me. I've been so obsessed with President He lately, I'd almost forgotten this one in front of me was the actual male lead. I nodded and smiled. It's me. Lily, who had originally planned to introduce us, looked puzzled. You know each other? Duh. This gentleman took me to the hospital the day of the car accident. Lily. Oh wow, it's fate then. Although it deviated a bit from the original plot, I still got to know Liu Shuwen. The birthday party was a bit boring for me. After all, I knew who all those people were, but I wasn't close to any of them. I could only sit quietly on the balcony sipping juice by myself. But then again, that's why the male and female leads are drawn to each other. Some things are just meant to be. Otherwise, how could a perfectly good balcony light just fall like that? And of all places, I was sitting right underneath it. When Lily's scream rang out, I only saw a blurry figure rushing towards me. My arm was yanked hard and I crashed into a clean, fresh-smelling embrace. The next second, a huge crash sounded behind me. I turned around. The light had smashed onto the table, shattering into pieces. The juice I'd just been drinking was now covered in plaster dust. If Liu Shuwen hadn't pulled me away so quickly, Lily would definitely be calling 120 right now. Are you okay? Hearing Liu Shuwen's voice above me, I belatedly put some distance between us. I'm fine. Thank you. Otherwise, I'd definitely be in an ambulance right now. He paused slightly, then smiled. Ambulances aren't that fast. Well, that was awkward. To thank Liu Shuwen for saving me, we exchanged WeChat and planned to treat him to a meal next time. I was just saying it casually. Who knew when next time would be? I never expected Lily, that little rascal, to take matters into her own hands. The next day, she said she was taking me for a fancy meal. When we got there, Lu Shuwen was already seated. No wonder she made me put on such elaborate makeup and pick out clothes for so long. Care to explain? She grinned mischievously. Upscale restaurant, handsome guy for company, and your French feast. Zhao Lily. Oh, come on. Since we're here, let's just enjoy it. Besides, you owed him a meal anyway. The meal went fairly smoothly. At one point, Lily brought up that we were both single, hinting that we could date. I cut her off. I'm in a career climb. Don't start this. I'm afraid Luo Yang, my agent, will kill me. Lu Shuwen nodded. I've seen some spoiler clips from your show. Miss Meng, you acted very well. The wine in my mouth almost sprayed out. Are you sure you're not setting me up? Lily burst out laughing. Only you would be that blind, Brother Lu. Do you really not read Weibo? I pinched her arm. She yelped in pain. After finishing the meal and paying, we went downstairs and ran into He Chen in the parking lot. He had just gotten out of the car in a formal suit. A strikingly beautiful woman with a cool, detached aura got out after him. I was just trying to get a better look when He Chen suddenly glanced over. I quickly got into Lu Shaoen's car. A few days later, Luo Yang suddenly asked me, "Are you seeing someone?" No, why? She adjusted her glasses. President, he told me to keep my people in line. You just entered the industry. You should understand the contract, right? Right? It clearly states you need to remain single. Aren't you the only newcomer under me right now? He saw me even though I hid so fast. I honestly told Luo Yang the whole story. She didn't scold me. It's fine. Just be more careful when you go out from now on. Wear a mask and a hat. Do I have to, Luo Yang? Who even knows me? What if you become famous later? Thinking of the future. Blockbuster actress Meng Hao from the original book. I said seriously. I'll be more careful from now on. Seeking Traces. Wrapped up filming 3 months later. Guo Yun raised his glass to thank us all, talking about how tough it was. How the crew was broke, and ended up crying over his own story. A bunch of people gathered around to comfort him, and this bastard actually took the chance to cop a feel. The tears weren't even dry yet, but the triumphant smirk on his face was glaringly obvious. The one he groped was a minor actress playing a maid. Those two had always been pretty close. I'd seen her come out of Guo Yun's room more than 3 times. Sun Miao leaned in and whispered in my ear. Director Guo has another big production next year. These people are practically throwing themselves at him. Sun Miao played my personal maid in the drama. We spent a lot of time together on set, and eventually became friends. I turned and asked quietly, "So what kind of role can she get?" Sun Miao. Not sure. Probably the personal maid for the female lead or second female lead. Definitely not a good role anyway. I threw back the rest of my wine. Fuck, so shady. Sun Miao laughed. It is shady. That's why so many people envy you. You've got President, he backing you up. I silently poured myself another drink. After dinner, we went to karaoke. By the time we were leaving, it was almost midnight. Sun Miao pulled out her phone. Taxis are hard to get at this hour. I'll ask my friend to pick me up. He can give you a ride too. No need, I'll call my friend to get me. Just as I was about to dial Lily's number, a black Maybach slowly pulled up in front of us. The door opened, and the driver stepped out, giving me a slight bow. Miss Meng, it's hard to get a ride at this time. Shall I take you home? I'd seen this driver before. He Chen's driver. So that meant ... He Chen was in the car? He Chen told him to take me home. I glanced at Sun Miao. She wiggled her eyebrows exaggeratedly. Go on, go on. I fiddled with my hair a bit and got in the car, feeling a bit shy. The car was empty. Halfway through the ride, I finally couldn't hold back. Sir ... you know me? Driver. Of course. You're Miss Meng. I really appreciate it, but isn't it a problem to use, President? He has car to take me home without his permission. It's not your car, Uncle. The driver smiled. Don't worry, Miss Meng. President, he saw you waiting by the roadside and told me to take you home. Then where is President He? President He went upstairs to discuss business. Oh, I see. Business? Business? I opened my phone and texted Sun Meow. Me. What's the name of that KTV we were just at? Sun Meow replied quickly. Jizzy. Why? I face-palmed. Sir. Turn back. I have something very important to discuss with President He. Original plot. Original plot. He Chen was trying to acquire a small company, but his offer was too low, and the other side wasn't happy. They drugged his drink, planning to take some compromising photos, blackmail him, and squeeze some money out of him. He Chen never expected such a small company would dare to mess with him. Caught off guard, they succeeded. This is where I come in. Drunk, I stumble into the wrong private room and cause a scene, buying a lot of time. By sheer accident, I disrupt their plan until He Chen's bodyguards arrive. The driver sped back. I was hoping for a classic damsel saves hero moment, but by the time I got there, they'd already taken the photos. Damn it. Who are you? A man in a black cap stood up first in the private room, his eyes full of hostility. The others stood up one by one. That's when I realized there were so many of them, at least a dozen guys. The novel didn't say there were this many. So many people, and He Chen didn't even bring bodyguards. I'm so fucking stupid. I should have called Zhu first. He Chen's assistant. Now it's over. I blinked and pretended I'd walked into the wrong room. Oops, wrong room. Sorry guys, I'll leave right away. Black Cap rushed into the hallway, grabbed me, dragged me back in, and shut the door. Great. Now I'm really in trouble, no help from heaven or earth. He threw me roughly onto the sofa. Next to me was He Chen, already unconscious, his clothes disheveled. Black Cap. Look at her, clearly with him. The moment you walked in, your eyes were darting everywhere. Looking for someone. Looking for your President He? I was found out that easily? That's some sharp eye. Big bro, really not. I walked in, saw all unfamiliar faces, thought maybe friends of friends brought me along. Of course I'd look to see if I knew anyone, right? Black Cap looked unconvinced. I sighed. Fine, no more acting. I sat up and slowly straightened He Chen's clothes for him. Guess how many people outside are looking for President He right now? Someone next to him leaned in and whispered, See? See? I told you we shouldn't mess with him, but you wouldn't listen. Black Cap stared at me, saying nothing. Looks like this Black Cap is their leader. I stood up and said leisurely, Guess again. How long until they find this place? You arranged to meet here. Do you really think President He came completely unprepared? Black Cap sneered coldly. Doesn't matter. The deed is done. You really think this kind of low-life trick will work? What do you mean? I smiled. If you don't delete those photos, you're not walking out of Jizzy tonight. Black Cap started scrutinizing me carefully. Right then, the private room door was kicked open, and Zhu rushed in with his men. I let out a long sigh of relief and slumped onto the sofa. In the original book, He Chen had dialed Zhu's emergency line before passing out, so all I had to do was buy time. Thankfully, I managed. After these guys were subdued, the police arrived. I was also taken to the station for questioning. It was nearly dawn by the time everything was sorted. I was exhausted. The Maybach had been waiting outside the police station for a while. I opened the back door, and He Chen was sitting there. I slammed the door shut with a bang. Was I seeing things? I carefully opened it a second time. He was really there. Get in. He uttered 2 words. I obediently got in. He recovered that fast. It was a sedative, for goodness sake. It had only been a little over 2 hours. And he looked perfectly fine, he'd even changed clothes. Meng He Hao. He said my name, his voice low, unusually magnetic. I never knew my name could sound so good coming from someone's mouth. Your acting has improved. Deserves a reward. Huh? He curved his lips slightly. Your legs were shaking so much you couldn't sit still. So you stood up to steady yourself. Weren't you unconscious? I didn't get it. After fixing He Chen's clothes in the room, I was terrified. With all those people staring, my legs started shaking uncontrollably. But I couldn't show fear. So I stood up to bolster my courage. How did He Chen know? You were awake by then. He propped his chin on his hand, squinting slightly. President He. Your clothes were practically off, and you could stay calm. He was silent for a moment. I wasn't awake then. I woke up when you were thrown onto the sofa. Then he added, Laojiang, drive. I turned. The man had already closed his eyes, leaning back in the seat as if dozing. But even in the dim car light, I could see the red tinge on the tips of his ears. I turned my head forward but couldn't help curling up the corners of my mouth. So he's a tsunda. After Seeking Traces aired, it received high praise for its characters, script, and acting. Within a week of its premiere, views had hit 1 million. It even broke into the top 3 on Weibo's hot search. Although I only played the second female lead, I still gained quite a few fans and even got my own super topic. I thought I could finally rest properly after finishing the drama. The next day, Lao Yang's relentless phone calls dragged me to the company. Exploiting labor, Lao Yang. Not even giving me 1 day off, I complained. At least give me a day. Lao Yang pushed me towards the makeup room. Seeking Traces is a hit. Guo Yun is holding a banquet at Kaoshin Manor. He invited many directors, producers, and screenwriters. And of course our President He. President He just called and told me to get you ready. Haha, this is an opportunity. We gotta seize it. But usually, it's Sister Kian who accompanies him to these events. This time he asked for you. There's bound to be people gossiping behind your back. Just pretend you don't hear it, okay? I agreed obediently. Shen Qian, award-winning actress, Xingda's top star. She didn't have much of a role in the original book either. Probably wouldn't have much interaction. Since I was accompanying He Chen, Lao Yang dolled me up specially, a black backless evening gown. The slit in the back went all the way down to my waist. The front plunged deep, even a bit revealing. I clung to the chair, refusing to leave the makeup room. The slit is too low, Lao Yang. I can't wear this out. Lao Yang was exasperated. What do you know? I'm doing this for your own good. Do you know how many famous directors and producers will be there today? Really, I can't, Lao Yang. Actually, I understood Lao Yang's meaning. Put simply, in this industry, youth and your body are capital. But I'm the female lead, for crying out loud. I have a sugar daddy. Usually at this point, He Chen should appear and righteously tell me, you don't have to please anyone. Just be yourself. Turns out I was overthinking it. I ended up wearing that backslit gown anyway. He Chen was sitting in the car with his eyes closed, resting. He wore a dark suit today, looking even more sharp and clean. Goes to show, if you're good looking, you'd look good even in a plastic bag. Even though I was used to seeing him in suits, a new one still managed to stun me. The car's AC wasn't turned up very high, but I was still shivering with goosebumps. The main reason was this dress, it barely covered anything. Why didn't Lao Yang give me a jacket to wear when we left? Why are you shaking? He Chen suddenly spoke. I felt like crying. President He, I'm a little cold. He opened his eyes, glanced me up and down, undisguised mockery in his gaze. President He, my agent insisted I wear this, I said through gritted teeth. He raised an eyebrow. After a while, he said, next time I'll tell Lao Yang to be more careful. This dress, ... is suffering with you. Lao Jiang, turn off the AC. He leaned back, finding a more comfortable position, and closed his eyes again. I pondered for a bit before I realized this jerk was mocking me for having no chest. For my poor figure. When we got out of the car, He Chen took off his jacket and tossed it to me. Put it on. Before I could mentally give our president He a point, he immediately added, don't embarrass me. Go, I'll endure it. The manor was bustling, the scene grand. It was my first time attending such a large-scale banquet, and I was a bit nervous. As soon as I entered the hall, many people came up to greet He Chen. I followed behind him, maintaining a smile. But this guy didn't even acknowledge many of the greetings. And those people weren't angry. They just kept smiling apologetically. Damn, having money is great. Though extremely reluctant, He Chen still introduced me to a few big-name directors. But my feet were killing me. President He, requesting a half-time break, I said. He Chen gave me a disgusted look that clearly said, get lost. I scurried off to the side. It wasn't unbearable pain. Just those constant glances flickering between me and He Chen that made me extremely uncomfortable. I just sat down and taken a sip of wine when gossip started up behind me again. Whoa. President, he actually changed the person by his side. Wow. Who is she? She actually took Sister Kian's spot. The one president he visited on set for the first time. Oh, her. I heard her acting is terrible. Wasn't President he supposed to be immune to women's charms? How did she climb up? Definitely not by legitimate means. Couldn't these people gossip a little farther away from me? Did they have to make sure I heard? I glanced back. All unfamiliar faces. I didn't know them. I was a bit puzzled. We don't know each other. Why are you making up stories about me? Seeing me look, they spoke even louder and more viciously, adhering to the principle of, if I can't afford to provoke them, can't I at least avoid them? I picked up my wine glass and left. I didn't even need to look back to imagine the smug expressions on their faces right now. But even if I don't look for trouble, trouble seems to find me. I had already walked to a window in the farthest corner of the hall, and someone still came looking for a fight. It was a woman who looked somewhat familiar, quite pretty, but her face wasn't to my liking, the kind of sharp, mean face you see in TV dramas. She walked up to me, looked me up and down, and asked, "You are? What's your relation to He Chen?" "I'm an artist under President He. What's your name?" "My name is Meng Hao." The person behind her leaned in and whispered in her ear. Unfortunately for them, I have sharp ears and heard it. "Sister Lulu. She's that newcomer who was on Weibo's hot search with President He last time." I remembered now. This was Ki Lu. Not a great reputation in the industry, but her acting was decent. Ki Lu examined me again, curled her lips into a smile, and without the slightest regard for my feelings asked, "With your terrible acting, how long do you think He Chen will keep promoting you?" I swirled the wine glass in my hand and smiled faintly. "I'm just a newcomer. President He also said my acting needs polishing. See, he found me quite a few resources." "What's wrong, sis? You're so famous. Doesn't the company give you resources?" She narrowed her eyes and glared at me viciously. "What are you to dare compare yourself to me?" "Of course I wouldn't dare. I just heard that back then, sis really wanted my role too." Ki Lu instantly tightened her grip on her glass. I thought to myself, come on. Throw it in my face. Do it. Then I can run crying to He Chen. Unexpectedly she held back. She tossed out a "we'll see" and left. As for me, I hadn't drunk much, but I kept running to the bathroom. Was this wine watered down? This was my third trip. Sitting on the toilet, I pondered life, thinking about how to get He Chen. Suddenly, there was a noise from the stall next to me, startling me. Then I heard an extremely sleazy male voice. "It's fine. No one's here." I froze, not daring to move. "This is the women's restroom, bro." "Aya. Director Guo." A woman's voice suddenly rang out, followed by feminine moans and a stream of vulgar words from the man. "I'm really gonna thank them. This is the women's restroom, a public place. Couldn't they be a little more discreet? Looking for a thrill isn't appropriate here, right? There's someone next door, bro." Even though that's what I thought, I didn't dare move a muscle, afraid of making any sound that might give me away. Guo Yun was pretty quick. It was over in under a few minutes, and he even sighed about how great youth is. I really wanted to curse him out. So ... Director Guo's next project ... Don't worry, you'll be the first one I consider for the female lead. That sounded familiar. Oh right, the maid from last time who got groped. She seemed to have told us that Guo Yun would give her priority for the female lead in his next project. Thank you, Director Guo. But you know, for the next project many people are approaching me. It's not just you ... Of course, Director Guo. Whatever you say goes. Where to, when isn't it all up to you? Good, obedient. The stall door opened. The restroom slowly fell silent. My clenched fists tightened, then loosened, then tightened again. He deceives people like this. Wouldn't he get struck by lightning? Guo Yun, this person was a good director, but not a good person. Walking out of the restroom, I didn't expect to find someone in the hallway. It was Guo Yun. He saw me and smiled. "So it was you next door. Well, was the live show good?" I washed my hands, playing dumb. "Director Guo, what are you talking about? I don't understand." He laughed again. Not understanding is best, of course. Understanding doesn't matter either. Zhao Meng, this industry is like this. You're new, you don't get it yet. You will in the future. Director Guo is right, he continued. Actually, you, while not stunningly beautiful, are pleasant to look at. As for acting, doesn't matter, I guess. After all, you have President He backing you up, right? Hinting my acting is poor and I rely entirely on He Chen. I'm not going to let you have your way. I'm going to retort. I smiled. Thank you for the compliment, Director Guo. But how I progress, how far I go, is my own business. It has nothing to do with President He. And President He isn't really fond of people trading on connections. The saying, careless talk costs lives. Director Guo understands that better than I do. Guo Yun looked me up and down several times, his expression ambiguous. Is that so? Then, if I give you a chance, would you be willing to let me be your backer? As he spoke, he walked towards me. You bastard, trying to trick me. The moment you think there's nothing between me and He Chen, you start scheming. Zhao Meng, that gown really suits you today. But why cover up? Beautiful things are meant to be admired. He reached out to pull at the suit jacket, He Chen's jacket. Are your dirty hands even worthy of touching it? Before he could finish, I raised my hand and slapped him hard across the face. Guo Yun looked shocked, his face full of disbelief. Looks like he's never been hit before. Well, let me set a precedent for you today. My stomach had already started churning with nausea. I decided not to hold back anymore, and threw up all over his clothes. Guo Yun's roar of rage echoed through the hallway. People from the banquet hall rushed over, and in no time, the hallway was packed. Guo Yun took off his jacket while glaring at me viciously. Hold her down, ... A few burly men who looked like bodyguards immediately pinned my hands and pressed me against the wall. Their strength was immense. I couldn't move. It's over. President He, you better come save me quickly. Guo Yun was furious. He came over and slapped me. The slap left my ears ringing. A buzzing sound. My left cheek burned with a fiery pain. That slap definitely used full force. But I started laughing, sneering. What's wrong, Director Guo? Weren't you just saying you wanted to be my backer? Are you throwing a tantrum now because I refused? You ... double quotes before I could finish. A deep, powerful voice cut me off, piercing through the hallway. Meng. Hiya. The crowd automatically parted to make way. He Chen was already someone who rarely smiled. Now, with a slight frown, his expression was even darker. He walked up to me, pinched my chin, and examined my face. Then he looked at Guo Yun. You hit her? He asked calmly, as if asking about the weather. Guo Yun swallowed with difficulty. President He ... He Chen curled his lips into a cold smile. You dare hit someone I brought? Good, very good. Guo Yun's voice trembled. He couldn't form a complete sentence. No ... not ... He Chen ignored him. Instead, he scooped me up in a bridal carry. A wave of gasps swept through the crowd. I looked at his face, dumbfounded and speechless. Leaving the words, "You'd better watch yourself behind," he carried me out the door. It wasn't until he tossed me into the car that I snapped out of it. A bridal carry, sisters. A bridal carry. He Chen carried me in his arms. He glanced at me. Meng Hao Hao, have you lost your mind? Huh. Got slapped and you're this happy. He Chen took me to the hospital. It wasn't crowded. After the doctor checked me and said there was no serious issue, just some swelling that would go down with rest, I could leave. He Chen insisted I stay for 2 days. I couldn't argue with him, so I stayed. After everything was settled, He Chen plopped down on the sofa. He rubbed his temples. Tell me, what exactly happened? Sitting on the hospital bed, I explained everything from start to finish clearly and in detail. After listening, he was silent for a long moment, then said, You listened to the whole live show. President He, is that really the point here? It was unintentional ... I replied. He Chen leaned back, a meaningful smile curling his lips. Remembering those blush-inducing sounds from the next stall, my ears turned red. I simply lay down and pulled the covers over my head. Playing dead. It's getting late, President He. I'll rest now. You should get some sleep too. Miss Meng knows how to be shy too. The next day, the hallway video from the manor was posted online, starting from me leaving the restroom up to Guo Yun slapping me. Because of this video, many of Guo Yun's past misdeeds were dug up, causing a huge uproar for a while. The casting couch thing was an open secret in the industry, but putting it online, with multiple people coming forward as witnesses, changed its nature entirely. I could tell long ago that old bastard was no good. Whoa, are there really this many victims? Isn't this a mutually consensual thing? I'm done. Promising the female lead role to 10 people? 10 female leads in one drama? What mutually consensual? This is straight up fraud. I scrolled through Weibo engrossed, my name even came up. Gotta say, this Meng Hao is pretty gutsy. Slapped him right then and there. If it were me, I'd have kicked him too. What does what I wear have to do with that old creep? Although I'm not a fan of this Meng Hao, just for this incident, I'll definitely not hate on her in the future. Throwing up on him made me laugh so hard, I could smell it through the screen. But the suit on Meng Hao looks familiar. Seeing that, my heart jumped. Thankfully, that comment was quickly buried. I put down my phone thinking, He Chen really acts swiftly and decisively. He was a director after all. And He Chen just took him down. Because of Guo Yun, the viewership and ratings for Seeking Traces started to drop. The actors involved were also somewhat affected. Scripts also started coming to me proactively. Although they were minor roles, every little bit helps. But Luo Yang rejected every single one of them. I asked her why. She smiled mysteriously. I have plans. Just wait patiently. All right, Luo Yang must have her reasons. After idling for over half a month, practically growing mold at home, Luo Yang finally called. At 9 in the evening, after being meticulously dolled up, I was delivered to the Welly Hotel. How? Whether we get this drama depends entirely on you now. Luo Yang patted my shoulder and pushed me into the elevator. If we secure this one, you won't have to worry about finding work in the future. Kun Luo, a large-scale Xiangxia ancient romance drama, helmed by the renowned director Wang Zhang. The male lead was a top idol who had just won the 100 Flowers award for Best Actor. Even some of the supporting actors were veteran award winners. The costumes, props, all real scenes. The on-set guidance was from top-tier professionals in the country. The only thing undecided was the female lead. Among a pile of award-winning actresses and Best Actress winners, a newcomer like me stood out glaringly. What kind of crazy idea did Luo Yang have, daring to pit me against these heavyweights for the role? The elevator went straight up, finally stopping at the 27th floor. My legs began to tremble. Anyone staying in the penthouse of the Welly was either rich or powerful. What was Luo Yang thinking? I wasn't even qualified to carry this person's shoes, okay? And the casting couch? How dare she even think of it? Just as I reached out to press the button for the next floor, of all times, the elevator door opened. Thinking of the balance in my WeChat wallet, I gritted my teeth and stepped out. I'm the female lead. I have protagonist plot armor. This person is most likely He Chen. I comforted myself. If it's not, I'll run immediately. After mentally preparing myself at the door, I slowly pushed it open. In view was a huge bed, followed by a wall of floor-to-ceiling windows, a semicircular aerial glass room. I cautiously walked in, looking around. The room was empty. On the right was a closed glass door. Probably the bathroom. Maybe he's showering. But there was no sound. I was just about to walk over when the door was pulled open. He Chen walked out, tying his bathrobe. My heart immediately relaxed. Thank goodness, it's He Chen. I was used to seeing him in his proper suits. This lounging at home, languid look was a first. Seeing me, he was momentarily stunned, then walked towards the sofa while drying his hair with a towel. His hair wasn't dry yet. Water droplets trailed down his cheeks, over his defined collarbones and into his chest. Further down, I felt something gush from my nose and quickly covered it. He Chen suddenly laughed, his voice low and deep. Meng Hao, is that all the self-control you have? Teasing aside, he still called the front desk. Someone came up, dealt with my nosebleed quickly and left. I lay back on the sofa, tilting my head up. He Chen propped his chin on his hand, watching me from the side. The atmosphere was too strange. I couldn't help but speak first. President He, what's the meaning of today's arrangement? He Chen said, shouldn't I be the one asking you that? Kun Ludo. Is yours? He Chen. I'm an investor. So that's it. I immediately sat up straight and said seriously, President He, as you've seen, my acting has been improving. I will definitely handle this drama well, not letting Xingda down, not letting you down. I hope President He will give me this opportunity. I won't disappoint you. He Chen tilted his head. Meng Hao, you don't think a few words will make me choose you internally, do you? I nodded. President He, I'm an artist under you. Double quotes. Before I could finish, he cut me off. Xingda has so many artists. Aren't there plenty with better acting skills who've won big awards? Then what does President He mean? He slowly straightened up, undid one button off his bathrobe, and gave me a slight nod. Things had reached this point. I wasn't some naive young girl. I may not have done it, but I've seen how it's done. I stood up, a strange excitement rising from deep within. Sleep with him. Thinking about it is one thing. Actually doing it is another. I pretended to be calm, walked to the sofa, knelt down, and started unbuttoning his bathrobe. But my hands were shaking like a sieve. Meng Hao, calm down. It's just unbuttoning. He Chen chuckled softly. It seems Miss Meng is doing this for the first time. Nonsense. Or have you done it many times like you? Does he sleep with someone for every project he invests in? Thinking of that, I couldn't help but feel irritated. Finally, I finished unbuttoning his robe. I racked my brains. Is the next step to push him down onto the sofa? He Chen leaned his head back against the sofa. Continue. Aren't you here precisely for this? I gritted my teeth and placed my hand on his dark blue boxer shorts. Pull them off. Pull them off. A voice kept screaming in my head. I was almost driven by pure lust to yank them off, but in the end, I lowered my hand. President He, I can't do this. He Chen straightened up. Then I'll do it. He reached out, grabbed my arm, and after a dizzying spin, he pinned me down on the sofa. The faint, clean scent of his shower gel lingered around my nose. Every breath was filled with his smell. My heart suddenly raced. My throat tightened, and my hands nervously grabbed his bathrobe. He Chen slowly lowered his head, took my collarbone into his mouth, and then bit down hard. Is this guy part dog? Biting people? It actually hurt. I couldn't help but let out a moan, then immediately clamped my mouth shut. Oh my God, was that delicate gasp really from my mouth just now? The man on top of me paused. Feeling the obvious change in a certain part of him against my lower abdomen, I finally started to feel scared. Whether in my past life or now, I was a pure, untouched girl, heaven and earth, sun and moon as my witnesses. And now, just like this, give myself away? Thinking of this, my body couldn't help but start trembling. He Chen looked up, his gaze calm as he watched me for a long time. Then he sat up, his voice indifferent. Get up. I quickly sat up, put my clothes back on, and awaited his judgment. He took a cigarette from the box on the table, twirling it in his fingers without lighting it. Meng Hao, what exactly is your purpose in approaching me? When he said that, I truly felt he was the He Chen from the original book, somewhat cold and unfeeling. You were doing perfectly fine as an internet celebrity, then suddenly decided to switch to acting. There are plenty of entertainment companies, yet you specifically chose Xingda. Xingda's elevators are inspected every year and have never had an accident. Yet that day, coincidentally, one happened. Ziyang, a small company, dares to target me, and you arrived even faster than Zhu. If you say you knew nothing about it, I don't believe you at all. What do you want? Fortune? Or money? I was dumbfounded. What do you mean? He tilted his head and smiled, somewhat amused. Miss Meng is smart. You should understand what I mean. I just don't understand today's affair. Wasn't it exactly what you wanted? Why did you get scared at the last moment? Could it be playing hard to get? The disdain and mockery in his eyes cut deep into mine. I clenched my fists. my nails digging painfully into my palms. What did he think? That I approached him for his money, power, influence? For my acting career? To sleep with him? To be his mistress? He Chen, I must be fucking blind to have fucking liked you. Screw this. I quickly ran out the door and pressed the elevator button. Lao Yang was startled to see me come out. So fast? What? What happened? With red-rimmed eyes, I got into the car without a word. Lao Yang didn't ask further. Why did I approach you? My heart aches for all you went through to get close to me. Aches for your past. Aches for the long game you played only to dig your own grave. Aches that you ended up alone in the end. How? Are you really okay? Lao Yang asked again. I wiped my tears. I'm fine. Why are you crying? You did approach him with an ulterior motive. You were never on the same path as him from the start. You never belonged to his world in the first place. On the top floor of the welly, He Chen slowly lit the cigarette in his hand. He took a deep drag and slowly exhaled a plume of smoke. The faint scent of the girl still lingered on his fingertips, somewhat intoxicating. This is really going to be the death of me. He curved his lips into a self-mocking smile. He Chen, someone like you, are you even worthy of being liked? Outside the window, traffic flowed endlessly. The glass reflected He Chen's expressionless face. I thought that after falling out with He Chen like this, my days at Xingda were numbered. I even started looking into other jobs. Unexpectedly, 2 days later, Lao Yang told me to go for a meal. With whom? President He. Did he say what for? Probably to arrange new work for you. Didn't He Chen suspect I had ulterior motives? Why keep me around? Could it be he wants to keep me here to torment me? I remember in the original book, someone offended Meng Hao, so He Chen poached her to the company at a high price, gave her roles that were old, ugly and exhausting, and then later blacklisted her. Is it my turn now? Arriving at the restaurant with a nervous heart, it turned out I was overthinking. There were 5 or 6 people in the private room. He Chen sat on a chair scrolling through his phone. Next to him sat Wang Jiang, the director of Kun Luo. Director Wang had a kind, benevolent face, a stark contrast to He Chen's cold, stern features. You are Meng Hao? Director Wang asked. I nodded respectfully. Yes, Director Wang. He looked me over and smiled. Good. Just as Xiao Chen said, you were very compatible with the female lead. The meal went fairly smoothly, if you ignored He Chen's cold, hard, grumpy face. After the meal, Director Wang patted my shoulder. Xiao Meng, I look forward to working with you. Back at the company, He Chen held a small meeting. Lao Yang excitedly waved the script at me, and only then did I realize I had gotten the female lead role in Kun Luo. But I wasn't slept with. I turned to look at the man sitting at the desk. He was flipping through documents without even glancing at me. After leaving the office, Lao Yang smiled so hard her eyes disappeared. How? I never dreamed in my wildest dreams that you'd actually land the female lead. Do you know? President, he has never used his position to internally assign a role to anyone. Even Chen Qian, Xingda's top star, never received such treatment. It seems, President, he really has feelings for you. My efforts to get you into the welly weren't in vain. Yesterday, the way you were, I thought ... What do you mean? I cut her off. What do you mean by your efforts to get me into the welly? Well, ... yesterday ... It wasn't He Chen who asked me to go. It was you? Lao Yang hemmed and hawed for a while. Oh dear, after the banquet incident, I could see, President, he treated you differently. Wasn't I doing this for your own good? And you just happened to have that incident with Go Yun. I've looked into this drama a bit. The female lead is righteous and decisive. I was just trying to help solidify your public image. And besides, this is Director Wang. Being the lead in one of his dramas is the dream of how many people in the entertainment industry. I waved my hand. Enough, Lao Yang. I need to process this myself. You don't need to follow me. I'm heading back. So that's why He Chen suddenly went crazy. He thought the casting couch situation was my active move. In his eyes, I was no different from those who would stop at nothing to climb the ladder. Should I explain? Would it just make things worse? Make him think I was playing some self-directed drama? Lost in thought, I didn't notice my footing and missed a step. Just as I was about to tumble down the stairs. At that critical moment, I grabbed the arm of someone coming towards me. That person reacted swiftly, wrapping an arm around my waist, preventing a tragedy. I let out a sigh of relief and looked up to thank them, only to see a familiar face. Lu Xuwen? Lu Xuwen wasn't surprised. He smiled, his features gentle. So grown up, and you still can't walk properly on stairs. A bit embarrassed, I quickly changed the subject. What are you doing here? He said. I came to discuss some business with President He. Then you should hurry and take care of your business. Thanks for today. I thanked him sincerely. Hey how? Lao Yang's voice suddenly came from the stairwell. I looked up and met He Chen's sharp gaze. Lao Yang desperately signaled me with her eyes. Only then did I realize Lu Xuwen's hand was still on my waist. Flustered, I pushed him away. Lu Xuwen didn't seem bothered. He smiled at He Chen. President He, long time no see. He Chen gave a non-committal. But his gaze remained fixed on me. I silently lowered my head, not daring to look at him. Why does this feel so much like a scene of getting caught red-handed cheating? Could this all be part of the script? Female lead falls downstairs. Male lead saves the beauty, just in time for the jealous second male lead to witness it. Stupid script. I should have just fallen to my death earlier. Fortunately, the awkward atmosphere only lasted a short while. He Chen took Lu Xuwen to his office to discuss business, and Lao Yang quickly whisked me away. My dear, please don't stir up any more trouble in the few days before filming starts. Lao Yang pleaded earnestly. Thankfully this happened at the company, and there weren't many people today. Do you know how many eyes are on you right now? I know. Oh, and President He asked me to pass on a message to you. What? Lao Yang wore an I know expression. He said, wishing you a smooth and auspicious start to filming. Thanks to He Chen's well wishes, the early filming went quite smoothly. My condition was also very good, and I even received a few words of praise from Director Wang occasionally. Zhao Meng's in good form today. Everyone should learn from her. This expression is perfect. Keep it up. You've grasped the character's essence perfectly. Well done. But there was one emotional scene where I just couldn't find the right feeling for the female lead. No matter how many times we NGD. The midday sun was scorching, and complaints started rising from the crew. Even I can handle emotional scenes. Shedding a few tears isn't that hard. She's a half-trained actor, never attended a proper acting school. What kind of acting skills do you think she has? I'm so jealous of her. Her second drama, and she's already Director Wang's female lead. Who told her to have such a powerful backer? Of course her resources are good. I heard long ago her name wasn't even on the audition list. She was internally chosen. Stop talking, she's coming, let's go. In the end, Director Wang saved the situation, saying we'd shoot other scenes first, and I should go back and study the character more. But soon after, rumors started online, saying I had no talent, no acting skills, and was only chosen internally because I had a sugar daddy. They really think highly of me. Even though I might have thought about it, it's not like I actually did it. Lao Yang told me to ignore the haters. They're just jealous and can't stand seeing others do well. I don't have time for them anyway. Every day, the moment I hit the hotel bed, I just want to sleep. After a full day of shooting, the wire work made me want to vomit, and my whole body ached terribly. I just wanted to hurry back to the hotel and soak in a hot bath to relax. I never expected that as soon as I got out of the car, someone would throw an egg at my head. You shameless bitch. Someone shouted, followed by a barrage of rotten vegetables and ink splashed in my face. I looked down at the large ink stain on my chest, thinking, whose fans are these? So bold? Security quickly restrained them, but they kept cursing at me. I was just about to roll up my sleeves and raise my hand when Lao Yang grabbed my arm and pulled me into the hotel. Just endure it, Hao. I've already called the police. Actually, it wasn't a huge deal. After all, when heaven is about to place a great responsibility on a great man, it always first frustrates his spirit, and will ... It's just that the egg stuff on my hair was hard to wash off. I washed my hair 3 times and the smell was still there. The fact that these people even used rotten eggs to throw at me is truly ridiculous. On the fourth wash, I couldn't help but tear up. I didn't know if it was because the eggs were too smelly, or because washing my hair was too difficult. I hadn't even cried for half a minute when the doorbell rang. I went to answer it with red-rimmed eyes. Standing outside was He Chen, looking grim. "Is something wrong?" I asked. He Chen looked me up and down. "You've been crying." I turned and walked towards the sofa, wiping my tears. "No, you're mistaken." He Chen walked in. "I called you. You didn't answer." I picked up my phone. There were 3 missed calls from He Chen. I was probably showering and didn't hear. "Does President He need something?" He leaned against the entryway cabinet, silent for a moment. "Starting tomorrow, I'll assign more bodyguards to you. I'll have PR do their best to control the rumors. The company will also issue a statement." "Thank you, President He. I heard from Director Wang that you're in good form. Keep it up." "I will. Is there anything else?" He Chen. "No. Rest. Try not to browse Weibo much lately." After saying that, he turned to leave. I couldn't help but ask, "President He, why did you choose me internally?" He stopped. "I didn't choose you internally. Director Wang took a liking to you at first sight. He feels you have a certain key that's very similar to the female lead. But you took me out for a meal alone," I said softly. "I did have some selfish desire to make Director Wang remember you more clearly, but I never expected him to decide on the spot. Director Wang also said you spoke up for me." I said even more quietly. He Chen turned to look at me. "Meng Hao, even though I'm the investor, do you think Director Wang is just some ordinary director? That he'd give you the female lead role just because of something I said? Do you think he spent these 30-odd years in vain?" He continued. "I did say you were a good fit for the female lead, but it was just a casual remark. Since he chose you, he must have his own reasons. Don't overthink it." Silence. A long silence. "Thank you." I thanked him sincerely. He Chen's eyes darkened slightly, and his voice suddenly softened. "I gave you the opportunity, so don't let me down." Kun Luo wrapped up filming 6 months later. At the wrap party, Director Wang kept patting my shoulder and praising me. "Good potential. Such good potential. In the future, you will definitely achieve great things of your own. Keep it up. Work hard with Zhao He." I raised my glass respectfully. "Director Wang, I've truly learned so much over these past few months. It's been an honor to work with you. This glass, I toast to you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. You are a great director and a truly good person." I wasn't exaggerating. It was the truth. Back when I was under Guo Yun, people were constantly going in and out of his room. But with Director Wang, I never once saw any actress entering or leaving his room. Script discussions all happened on set. I never heard anyone mention him engaging in the casting couch. A great director is indeed different. Director Wang laughed heartily. "When you become famous in the future, you can't refuse if I ask you to act in my dramas. Then I'll take your auspicious words to heart. If that day really comes, I would never refuse your dramas." After 2 drinks, He Chen finally arrived fashionably late. Director Wang glared. "Late arrival requires a penalty." He Chen didn't offer any explanation and simply punished himself with 3 drinks. I must have had too much to drink. Why else would I go toast him a 4th glass? "President He, I also want to thank you for believing in me and giving me this opportunity. This glass, I toast to you. I'll work diligently under you from now on." I raised my glass and offered it to him. The previously noisy room fell silent. Everyone's eyes were on me. What's wrong? Can't I toast him? Or did I say something wrong? Lao Yang quickly rushed over. "Drink, President He. I'll drink this for you." "You're drunk. Go rest now." "I'm not drunk, Lao Yang, you." Before I could finish, a slender hand reached over Lao Yang's shoulder and took the glass from my hand. He Chen gave a slight nod. "This glass, you should indeed toast me." Then he downed it in one go. President He is forthright. I also drained my entire glass. He Chen's eyebrows rose slightly, and the corners of his mouth curved into a hint of a smile. Lao Yang stared blankly for a moment, then practically dragged me away. "Hao, confess honestly. Is there something going on between you and President He? Lao Yang pulled me to the stairwell, hands on her hips, and interrogated me. I leaned against the wall behind me. Really, there isn't. Lao Yang, what are you thinking? If I ever do sleep with He Chen one day, I'll announce it to the world with gongs and drums. Lao Yang rolled her eyes. Guess why, among so many people, no one toasts President He? I know. Last time at the manor when I went with him, he didn't drink toasts from many people. Those were all celebrities from various fields. He didn't drink their toasts. So why did he drink yours? Tell me. I'm his employee. Lao Yan looked like she wanted to strangle me. Hu Xingda isn't his employee. At the annual dinner, I've never seen him drink a toast from anyone. I was just afraid you'd be embarrassed earlier, so I tried to smooth things over. Who knew he'd accept it? How? You can't keep doing things like this in the future. If some ill-intentioned person puts this online, who knows what kind of rumors there will be? You've just gained a little bit of fame. You really need to watch your words and maintain your distance from President He. Understand? I nodded obediently. Understood. Understood my foot. After dinner, when He Chen offered to take me home, Lao Yang didn't say a damn word either. She just smiled and opened the door for me. Let me know when you get home safely, Lao Yang said kindly. Unexpectedly, He Chen frowned, his tone unfriendly. What? You don't trust me to take her home? Lao Yang quickly corrected herself. Of course I trust you. Completely trust you. How? No need to tell me when you get home. Once in the car, He Chen closed his eyes to rest. Several times I opened my mouth, not daring to actually ask, like, why did you accept my toast today? If you have something to ask, just ask. He suddenly spoke. After careful consideration, I asked, President He, forgive my bluntness. Last time at the manor, I saw you didn't drink many people's toasts. Why today? Did you accept mine? He didn't speak, and the atmosphere stiffened for a moment. I started babbling on my own again. Look at me, what am I saying? I'm your subordinate. With so many people, you were definitely considering my self-esteem, not wanting me to be embarrassed. President He, let me first thank. No. He cut me off. What? He Chen opened his eyes, their color murky and unclear. Because it was you. A wave of heat instantly rose in my chest, and my face burned. I somewhat awkwardly turned my head away. Old Zhang must not have turned on the AC. Otherwise, why is it so hot in the car? I rolled down the window. A cool breeze blew in, dispersing the heat in my chest, but the redness on my earlobes just wouldn't fade. The car came to a smooth stop downstairs at my place. I practically scrambled out. He Chen seemed to be in an excellent mood. He even said, goodbye. I was just about to turn and respond when my gaze swept forward, and I froze. Liu Shuwen was standing downstairs holding a bouquet of flowers. A large-scale jealous showdown? How? Liu Shuwen waved at me. I swallowed hard and slowly shuffled towards him, praying in my heart that Uncle Zhang would drive away quickly. By the time I stood in front of Liu Shuwen, the car still hadn't moved. Liu Shuwen handed me the flowers, smiling. Congratulations on wrapping up. His eyes were full of gentleness. Thank you. I forced a difficult smile. Why isn't old Zhang leaving? Is he watching the show? Liu Shuwen spoke again. Did President He send someone to bring you back? It was President He himself who brought me back. Liu Shuwen curved his lips into a smile, warm as a spring breeze. He suddenly leaned in, reaching out to tuck a stray strand of hair behind my ear. I didn't have time to dodge. How, I have something I want to tell you, he said. Subconsciously, I turned my head. The black Maybach made a U-turn and sped away into the night. It's over, he saw. On second thought, so what if he saw? The contract only says to remain single. It doesn't say I can't receive flowers or have my hair tucked behind my ear. But what did He Chen mean by what he said in the car? Because it was you. So does that mean he likes me a little? Lost in thought, it took Liu Shuwen calling my name several times before I snapped back to reality. What were you going to tell me just now? Liu Shuwen pursed his lips. Should I not have come to give you flowers today? Why do you say that? You don't seem very happy. He looked somewhat hurt. I patted his shoulder nonchalantly. What are you talking about? You're the first friend to give me flowers today. I'm very happy. Friend? I nodded. Friend. His smile turned slightly bitter. Hey, oh how? He called my name, his tone extremely gentle. You know, from the first moment I saw you, you felt very familiar. It was as if we've known each other for a long time. My heart gave a slight jump. He continued, but truly we've never met before. At Yanyu's birthday party, when that light almost hit you, I rushed over without thinking. You know, I've never been so worried about someone before. To me, you seem like a special existence. I don't use Weibo, but when Lily said she could see you there, I started searching for every bit of news about you on it. Every day I open your WeChat chat window, but I don't dare send you a message, afraid you're busy. Even more afraid you'd find me annoying. Even though it's really inexplicable, I can't lie to myself. Haha, I think I like you. Seeing I didn't speak, he added anxiously, Hey, oh how, I'm not lying. I really like you. I believe him. How could I not? In the original book, we were a couple. But I'm not the real Meng Heo Hao. Looking at his clean, earnest face, I moved my lips and squeezed out two difficult words. I'm sorry. The light in his eyes instantly dimmed. I felt extremely guilty. I bowed deeply to him and said softly, Lu Xuan, you will definitely meet someone better than me. You're the male lead. You have protagonist plot armor. You can meet any kind of girl you want. Lu Xuan looked at me for a long moment, then smiled, bright as a clear breeze under the moon. Well then, I'll take your auspicious words to heart. And I wish you a bright future. After Kun Luo aired, it received widespread praise, with a Dobon rating as high as 9.3. The people who used to curse me online disappeared, replaced by comments praising my good acting and strong immersion. I suspected Xingda hired water army bots, but I had no proof. Thanks to the moderate success of this drama, endorsement offers came one after another. In just 2 weeks, my Weibo followers soared to over 1 million. The crew also held a victory party. Most people came. By the end, I was so drunk I barely recognized anyone. The alcohol went to my head. In my haze, I seemed to see He Chen come sit next to me. I straightened up and leaned my head against his shoulder. He Chen frowned, reached out to push me. His tone not very good. Meng Heo. It's him. What are you being so stubborn about? I asked discontentedly. You still have such a narrow heart. Dutch courage. Normally, I would absolutely never dare say something like this. He Chen turned his head away, looking like he didn't want to deal with me. Angered, I directly reached out and turned his head back towards me, saying seriously, no matter what you saw or heard, Lu Xuan and I are just friends. Ever since that last incident, whenever I ran into He Chen at the company, he'd ignore my greetings. Although I wasn't entirely clear on the reason, I didn't want him to misunderstand. I know He Chen too well. If I don't take the initiative to explain this, even if he wants to know, he'll hold it inside for a lifetime. He's that stubborn. He Chen remained silent for a long moment, finally letting out a soft sigh. I know. Then he stood up, said something to Director Wang, came back, scooped me up in his arms, and carried me out of the private room. He had a pleasant, faint scent with a hint of tobacco. I opened my eyes and saw his tightly pressed lips and sharp jawline. President He, I called. He stopped walking and looked down at me. I must have had too much to drink. Otherwise, why was I feeling so dizzy, as if He Chen's eyes were filled with tenderness when he looked at me? My heart beat faster and faster. I felt like I was about to drown in the man's tenderness. Then, as if beyond my control, I wrapped my arms around his neck, slowly, drew closer to his lips, and pressed mine against his, little by little. The warm touch carried a faint scent of alcohol. I was definitely drunk. I woke up in bed the next day around noon. Loa Yang had left over a dozen missed calls, and Lily had called several times too. Rubbing my still dizzy head, I called Lao Yang back. As soon as I said, hello, Lao Yang spoke urgently. Come to the company quickly. Hurry now. Without even putting on makeup, I just wore a mask and rushed straight to the company. The company lobby was packed with people. Seeing me arrive, they wordlessly made way. Suspicious, I walked into the lobby and saw two people sitting on the floor, making a scene and rolling around. I almost didn't catch my breath. Wang Qin and Meng Jiancheng? Woe is me, my life is so bitter. I worked so hard to raise my daughter, and in the end, she's an ungrateful wretch. My life is so bitter. Now my daughter is successful and rich, but she doesn't care about us two old folks at all. My life is so bitter. At this old age, I still have to make a living selling scraps and picking through trash every day. My life is so bitter. Haven't you had enough? I couldn't take it anymore and cut her off. Wang Qin saw me and rushed up to grab my hand. Finally showing yourself. Moving, changing your number, blocking me on WeChat. Is there anything you won't do? I raised you. And this is how you treat me. Fed and clothed you well. And now that you're rich and famous, have you ever thought about how we two old folks are supposed to live? I coldly pulled my hand back. Fed and clothed me well? Mum, are you remembering wrong? As I recall, when I was little, I could only eat your leftovers. If I didn't finish the housework, I wouldn't even get food. Raised me? When I was 15, I got into the best high school, but you told me my brother was in vocational school and needed money for many things, so I should go work. Finally made it to 18, found a somewhat stable job, and you said my brother needed money for even more things. Made me become an internet celebrity. Signed a contract for 10 years. The laughable thing is, I didn't get a single cent. All the money went into your wallet. And now you're telling me, how are we two old folks supposed to live? Wang Qin's face turned pale and then flushed. I smiled. What's wrong? Ran out of money? Or did my brother gamble it all away? Now you're shamelessly clinging to me again. How many times is this? You come find me when you need money. And when you have money, you kick me aside. Meng Jiancheng stepped up to play the good father. Ho ho. Even if we weren't very good to you before, we are still your parents. But now your mom is sick. You have so much money now. I hear people say you're a big star now. You can't just not take care of your mom, can you? Money? I have none. Life? You can have it. I smiled. You unfilial daughter. Wang Qin raised her hand to slap me, but Luo Yang swiftly intercepted it. She started crying again, saying she was going to die, that she was destined for misfortune to have a daughter like me in this lifetime, that she might as well die. Whispers started around us, most people adopting a watching the show attitude. I clenched my fists. You know, I'm your daughter. You come to the company to make a scene, roll around and make a fool of yourself, embarrass me. Have you ever considered that I'm your daughter? Wang Qin persisted, sitting stubbornly on the floor, clinging to my leg, refusing to let go. Today, either you give me money, or I'll die right here in front of you. Her dramatic, wailing, weeping appearance truly embarrassed me to the core. Tears unconsciously welled up in my eyes. I didn't know if it was heartache for the original, Meng Hao, or anger at Wang Qin. I gritted my teeth, wanting to kick her away. Unexpectedly, someone beat me to it. Wang Qin rolled on the ground, crying "Io." He Chen stood beside me. He glanced around, his voice icy. Causing trouble at Xingda? Are you all blind? Do you want to be fired tomorrow? Security quickly surrounded them and dragged Wang Qin and Meng Jiancheng away. He Chen turned to look at me, his expression suddenly changing. He frowned, his voice softening a few degrees. Are you okay? If you looked closely, you could even see the heartache hidden in his eyes. For a moment, I was completely disoriented by his sudden gentleness. But now wasn't the time to think about that. I took a bank card from my bag and handed it to Luo Yang. My voice choked. Give them this card. No matter how badly they treated me, I can't deny they are my parents. The corner of Luo Yang's mouth twitched slightly. She took the card and said, "Okay." The others scattered like birds and beasts. Once in the elevator, the tension I'd been holding finally relaxed. I wiped away my tears, took out a mirror and lipstick from my bag, and hummed a tune as I fixed my makeup. He Chen chuckled softly beside me. It seems your acting skills have reached perfection. I was almost fooled. I giggled. Nothing escapes President He. The card was indeed a bank card. It just had no money in it. Meng Hao, you yesterday. He Chen started but didn't finish. I turned. What about yesterday? He stared at my lips as if he had something to say, then finally closed his mouth, and silently walked out of the elevator. I called after him. President He, you haven't reached your floor yet. Are you taking the stairs? But as they say, one wave hasn't settled, another rises. While I was still investigating whether Wang Qin was really sick, Weibo had already exploded. A video of Wang Qin causing a scene at my company was posted online. The commenters were simply eagle-eyed. I told you this Meng Haohao definitely has something going on with Xingda's boss. Look, look. President He's face is full of heartache. Is this a normal relationship? The video is so blurry. How on earth did you see face full of heartache? But President He's tone of voice before and after really isn't the same person. Okay? My boyfriend talks to me this gently too. Use your brains, people. Meng Haohao isn't ugly, but who in the entertainment industry is? Why can a newcomer like her become Director Wan's female lead? Xingda is the investor. He Chen is the investor. Isn't this just him saying the word? Hey, doesn't anyone think Meng Haohao's parents are way too much? +1, they still raised her. Now she's rich and famous, and her mom is sick, but she doesn't care. No matter how she was treated as a child, doesn't she owe them for giving birth to her? I'm really gonna thank them. Might as well not have been born, I hope you encounter parents like this in your next life. Is the commenter above here to whitewash? It's not that bad. Isn't it natural for girls to help with some housework? She just marry well later. What's the use of reading so many books anyway? I think her parents are fine. The comments section really can't distinguish between people and dogs. I feel sorry for your girlfriend, future wife, daughter. What era is this? Still saying reading is useless. It's not that bad either. If I were treated like that as a child, I'd be very upset too. Maybe even hate them. But Meng Hao still told her agent to give them a bank card in the end. I think that's the limit of benevolence and duty. Stop bickering here. Hot search number 1. Let's go, brothers. Hot search number 1. Hashtag Xingda Insider hash clicking in. There was a photo. In a dimly lit hallway, He Chen was holding me, head lowered, and I had my arms around his neck kissing. Oh my god, I told you. Next screen. Meng Haohao got ahead by sleeping with He Chen. Although her acting is okay, I didn't find her too jarring when watching the drama, but climbing up using such methods is a bit disgusting. I'm really gonna thank her. I even defended her earlier. Everyone let me slap myself a few times first. Then I'm out. Goodbye. So this is the truth. Xingda should apologize to all the actresses who auditioned for Kun Luo. Whoa. It really was a casting couch. My president He. Ruined. Xingda, apologize. Meng Haohao, get out of the entertainment industry. The moment I saw the photo, I exploded. My head buzzed. When did this happen? I have absolutely no memory of this. I remember He Chen carrying me out. But when did I kiss him? I truly have no impression at all. And defining a casting couch based on just one photo. Why drag up the internal selection issue again? I wasn't internally chosen. I gripped my phone tightly, my body shaking with anger. Absurdly, Qi Lu jumped out. She posted, Qi Lu mum. This is why they say people have different fates. Even though my audition score was number 1, I still didn't get the role in the end. The comments below were uniform. Xingda, apologize. Meng Haohao, get out of the entertainment industry. The company held an emergency meeting. In the conference room, everyone was so quiet they didn't dare breathe loudly, afraid to provoke the boss who had been frowning since he entered. He Chen's face was dark. Where did the photo leak from? Investigate. Yes. You have 2 days to control the public opinion. If you can't do it, you're all fired. Yes. The meeting ended and everyone went about their tasks. Yang was kept back. He Chen rubbed his temples. Don't let her look at her phone recently. Don't let her stay at home either. Have her stay at the Welly, or take her on a trip? La Yang lowered her head in response. Yes, President He. Although Xingda's PR team had been desperately trying to control and stop the rumors, the internet is incredibly fast nowadays. In just 2 days, I had become universally hated online. They even doxed my phone number and address. Thankfully, Lao Yang was smart and had arranged for me to stay at the Welly in advance. Otherwise, I definitely would have had rotten eggs thrown at me and ink splashed on me again. At the Welly Hotel, I spread my arms and collapsed onto the large bed. Lao Yang, am I really not going to make it through this? After I quit the industry, which artist will you be assigned to as a manager? I asked. Lao Yang was packing my clothes while going, Pa. What are you talking about? President, he wants you to stay here properly. He'll handle the rest. I turned over and looked at Lao Yang. Lao Yang, do you think President he likes me? Lao Yang thought for a moment, smiling. I don't know. But regarding many things about you, President He's actions have surprised me. I've never seen President He like this before. But Lao Yang changed the subject. When did you kiss President He in the hallway? I somewhat guiltily turned over. I'm going to sleep first. I'm a bit tired. Lao Yang, I really forgot. When I remember, I'll definitely tell you. I thought I'd just hide and wait for the storm to pass. Who knew they would go to my place, break the door, shatter the windows with rocks, throw a lot of trash, and even a dead rat into the room through the window. When Lily tearfully sent me a message, I immediately put on clothes and went out. Just outside the hotel entrance, a crowd surrounded me, all reporters. They carried cameras, held microphones, shoving them in my face. Miss Meng, is it true you have an affair with President He? Some say Miss Meng secured the female lead role in Kun Luo through her relationship with President He. Is that true? Your parents caused a scene at the company. Do you have anything to say about that? You elbowed out someone else's position using underhanded methods. Don't you feel guilty? Some say they saw you going to a hotel to find President He at night. Is that true? What is your response to Hot Search #1 telling you to get out of the entertainment industry? I'd really had enough. I took off my mask and snatched a microphone. Response? What should I respond to? I was uprightly chosen by Director Wang at first sight. What is there to respond to? Some say, some saw. Why don't you bring this someone to me? Yes, I did go to President He's room. What were we doing inside? Did you see? You say I slept my way to the top. Where's the evidence? Spreading rumors and speaking carelessly carries legal liability. Do you know that? You're reporters. Do I need to teach you about verifying facts? And what's with turning on cameras there? Are you live streaming? Then, may I ask, how do you explain the photo? Someone asked. I, who had been talking non-stop, instantly became speechless. How would I know how to explain it? I have absolutely no memory. Just as I was pondering how to answer, suddenly someone from the crowd threw an egg at me. Don't these people have any new tricks? Just throwing eggs. But this time, the egg didn't hit me. He Chen appeared out of nowhere. He shielded me in his arms. That egg hit his back, staining his suit. He Chen turned to face them, his expression dark. The crowd automatically took a step back. His brows were knitted together. His voice mixed with ice shards. Who allowed you to cause trouble at the Welly entrance? And who gave you the audacity to bully my person? The crowd fell silent. I almost felt like laughing. Weren't you just aggressively questioning my relationship with He Chen? Now that the man himself is here, why has everyone suddenly lost their tongues? He Chen's gaze swept to the security guards behind. Are we keeping you to eat without working? The security guards moved in to chase people away. He Chen put his arm around my shoulders and we entered the elevator. My future man is so handsome, I thought. He Chen probably hadn't rested well these past few days, because as soon as he entered the room, he threw himself onto the sofa, head tilted back, looking exhausted. My heart ached a little for him and I slowly moved closer. President He, shall I give you a head massage? He softly said, okay, and closed his eyes. I stood behind him, reached out and slowly, gently massaged his temples. Meng Hao, I also want to ask you, what did that kiss mean? He suddenly said. My hands paused. Listening to his tone, It seemed like I was the active one. President He. Can things done while drunk be taken seriously? He opened his eyes, looking at me quietly. I uncomfortably turned my face away. He Chen moved my hands aside and sat up. So you've just been amusing yourself with me all along? This guy's thought process is really strange. When did I ever amuse myself with him? Turning my head, I only saw He Chen's back, ramrod straight, seemingly hard, yet also fragile enough to shatter at a touch. In the original book, He Chen was someone with extreme insecurity. He didn't have many close friends and did everything personally. To outsiders, he appeared cold and unfeeling, acting swiftly and decisively, showing no mercy. But actually, these were all shells he used to protect himself. At his core, He Chen was a cowardly inside and soft little ghost. He was my back then regret. He Chen. I softly called his name. If I weren't me, would you still like me? He caught the key point. What do you mean? If you weren't you? I walked to his side and slowly sat down. Have you heard of transmigration? For the next half hour, I told him how I transmigrated here, and about the original book's plot. After listening, He Chen's brows were tightly furrowed. I was prepared to be thrown out as a lunatic. Unexpectedly, after hearing it all, he asked, So you know everything about me? I know. Of course I know. Your father killed someone, went to prison, sentenced to life. Your mother had a mental breakdown, went mad on a family reunion New Year's Eve, and drowned herself in the bathtub. You were taken in by your uncle. Your uncle's family didn't treat you well. In half a year, you sent him to prison to keep your father company, ruined your aunt's reputation, forcing her to flee to another city overnight. He Chen curled his lips in a mocking smile. Did the book mention the reason? I thought for a moment. It really didn't seem to. I honestly shook my head. He Chen pulled out a cigarette from his pocket. His fingers tapped it idly. After my mom died, I attempted suicide 3 times. Each time I was saved. It was strange. I tried to kill myself at home. How did the neighbors know and call every time? Later, I found out they had installed surveillance in my house. They hypocritically took me in. Every morning, they gave me money to buy 2 steamed buns. Every evening, they gave me a bowl of rice, no seconds. Before bed, they made me take medicine, saying it was for nutrition during growth. I was young, but not stupid. I took the medicine to a hospital. The doctor told me long-term use of that medicine could cause mental confusion. I suddenly remembered they once gave my mom some health supplements containing that medicine. My father had a capable assistant, Uncle Liu. I asked him to thoroughly check the company's accounts. The results ... double quotes. He sneered, his voice turning cold. I don't know what methods they used, but they held my parents' shares. If they took my shares too, Xingda would change hands. So they used the same method they used on my mom, trying to drive me mad, to make me personally transfer the shares. Unfortunately for them, I found out. I set up my stupid aunt to have an affair. My face-obsessed uncle couldn't stand the humiliation, took a knife, and killed the man. I called the police and also reported all his years of bribery, embezzlement, and casting couch activities. My stupid aunt fled overnight, abandoning my 5-year-old cousin. At this point, his expression softened considerably. I didn't want to care about him initially, but he kept calling Jeej every day. It was annoying. So I sold him. Damn Sunda. Said he sold him, but actually found him a good family to adopt him, and would often check on his news, see if he was doing well, if he was being bullied. Someone like me. He suddenly turned to look at me. Would you still like me? Just like in the book, the things I want to achieve, people I want to have. I will stop at nothing. Even so, would you still like me? He looked serious. His gaze at me seemed indifferent, but his actions betrayed him. The cigarette was clutched tightly. He was nervous, immature, and cowardly. I curved my lips, leaned in, and embraced him, my voice slow yet firm. I like you. I like every version of you. The you pretending to be strong. The you with a soft and detailed heart. The you who acts ruthlessly and shows no mercy every you. I held him, waiting. After a long while, so long my shoulder started to ache, he finally gently wrapped his arms around my waist, cautiously, his fingertips still trembling slightly. And you? I'm not the original Meng here, how? Do you still like me? I asked softly. I like only you. It has nothing to do with who you are. His voice was light and shallow, yet it struck my eardrums and chest directly. He Chen, let's be in a relationship. Okay. That evening, as Luo Yang requested, I posted a Weibo. Meng hao hao em. The innocent will be proven innocent. The next day, Shen Qian posted on Weibo, sharing her daily life traveling. The caption: traveling is too comfortable. Just caught up on the gossip. How do I remember my audition score for Kun Luo was 20 points higher than a certain someone says? Am I getting old? Could I be remembering wrong? Seeing her photo, I realized she was that stunningly beautiful woman with the cool, detached aura who was with He Chen that day. Why did Shen Qian help me? I called He Chen. He laughed. She's an artist under me and a very good friend. You, as my future wife, it's only normal she helps you. My face flushed. Stop being smooth. How did this guy become so unserious after getting into a relationship? Various marketing accounts also started whitewashing me. Lily's home being vandalized. Reporters knowing in advance and ambushing me at the hotel entrance. Being targeted with thrown eggs repeatedly. All had someone orchestrating behind the scenes. Someone with sharp eyes recognized that person as an employee of Heng Yang. Heng Yang was also an entertainment company, always at odds with Xingda, constantly snatching Xingda's resources. Qi Lu was also an artist under Heng Yang. This is a bit self-explanatory, isn't it? Fans turned their attack on Qi Lu. Unable to withstand the abuse, she came out to clarify she had remembered wrong. Of course, the best whitewashing was Director Wang's statement. Wang Jiang. Perhaps. Do you know what love at first sight that lasts a lifetime means? This also indirectly explained there was no internal selection. I was the one he chose at first sight. Once again sent to the hot search was our president He Chen. No internal selection. No casting couch. I am very happy. You did not let me down. I'm dying from sweetness, sisters. Woo-woo. It's been 4 years since President He's last Weibo post. 4 years. Do you know how I've lived these 4 years? The last post. Congratulations, Shen Qian. This post. I am very happy. You did not let me down. This is the difference. There's definitely something going on. Isn't this just the plot from my domineering CEO novel? You just charge ahead. I've got your back. President He, you and our Hao Ji must be happy together. Sugar level off the charts. Is this considered sweet talk? He Chen. You. Oh my God. 3 years later, at a mainland award ceremony. Host. Next, we announce the winner of the 32nd Golden Rooster Award for Best Actress. Her name is Meng Hao Hao. The woman, holding the hem of her gown, walked slowly onto the stage amidst applause and cheers under dazzling lights. The long gown outlined her perfect curves. Her face was fresh and pretty, adorned with exquisite makeup. The host handed her the trophy. She extended both hands and slowly received it. Her eyes turned red, filled with joy and excitement she couldn't hide. She took a deep breath, faced the camera, smiled, and then bowed deeply. Now, please let Miss Meng give her acceptance speech. Before the speech, I would like to specially thank one person, she said. Without him, there would be no me today. He is the one who opened the door to acting for me, the one who has been with me from the beginning to the end, the one who encouraged me to keep going through countless difficult days and nights. He is my boss. He is ... double quotes. The one I like. She uttered the last 4 words lingeringly and gently. The applause suddenly thundered. A certain man in the crowd slowly, little by little, curved his lips into a smile.